We have a system right now that's broken. And if you want to compare records, and frankly, I'm shocked that you do, I am happy to do that.
There was nothing done for the entire 8 years he was mayor. There was nothing done to deal with the police department that was corrupt.
Mr. Vice President, the saying in my community, you're dipping into the Kool-Aid and you don't even know the flavor. You need to come to the city of Newark and see the reforms that we put in place.
Senator Cory Booker landing one of the memorable moments of the night. So what's his strategy now coming out of this debate? Joining us now is Senator Cory Booker. Great to have you.
It is so good to be on stage with you guys. No sleep, but hey, what the heck?
Well, somehow it agrees with you. And
my hair, though, this morning is so unruly. It's hard to get it going.
Maybe that would save time for me. So how did you feel last night on the stage? Because you seem to be sort of, in your element. You know, not every format is for every person. But did you feel like a 10-person stage was actually your format?
I would far prefer less people on the stage. But look, first of all, I have a lot of love for a lot of people on that stage. Some of my best friends. You had Kamala here, Kirsten, Gillibrand, Bennet, Castro. These are people that I feel close to. The old joke in Washington, if you want a friend, you get a dog. That's actually not true. These are real friends. So I felt like we were having a family discussion. And some families, it gets kind of intense at times, but at the end of the day, we're still family. And that's the issue I try to keep bringing up, which is we have a common goal here to get to the November elections and beat Donald Trump. And so that's what I kept in my mind. We're up here for a noble purpose and perhaps one of the most unprecedented moments in history where we have a president from the Oval Office using rhetoric as my mom said, she hadn't heard since Governor Wallace was using language like this president's using. We have an urgency and a crisis in the country. The very culture of our country is at stake. So you got to have a spirit up there that, as much as you are talking about differences, never loses that we are connected, a band of sisters and brothers in purpose.
One thing about George Wallace, Harriet, and our numbers cruncher noted that more people say that this president is racist than thought George Wallace was racist at the time. Just as
That's stunning.
It's an interesting thing.
Not surprising, actually.
Okay,
it's stunning.
But listen, so last night, one of the things you said, the person that's enjoying this debate most right now is Donald Trump as we pit Democrats against each other. You said that on the stage last night. You also accused Joe Biden of having it both ways on Barack Obama. So my question to you is, are you having it both ways, okay, on Democrats, pitting things against each other? Because you were tough on Joe Biden last night.
Well, first of all, anybody who goes up against Donald Trump better be tough and ready. But I do not like it when Democrats are using tropes that the Republicans use against us, against each other, and that are not working to point out that, look, I disagree with you, but whoever is the nominee, I'm going to be with that person. And we've got to remember that one of the many reasons we fell short the last election is because we weren't as united as we should have been as a party. So I have a lot of belief that I am the right person to unite this party, unite this country. But if I happen not to be that person, I am going to throw all of my spirit and all of my support behind whoever that person is. So I definitely have disagreements with Vice President Joe Biden, but I'm not sucker punching him. I'm very straightforward with my disagreements. But at the end of the day, I respect him. He is a statesman, been at this for decades. I'm not trying to actually tear him down. I'm trying to prepare our party to deal with the issues that I think the voters care about.
Well, you do go after him a lot about the 1990s crime bill that he was supportive of. And, within that bill was also an assault weapons ban.
Yeah.
And when that expired, we have seen a spate of mass shootings. And so was it all bad? Was that bill all bad?
Oh, God. So first of all, I think I'm the only person in this race that had a person killed with an assault rifle on their block last year, Shahad Smith on my block. So I live the scourge of gun violence community. In Detroit, I know we had this horrible, horrible shooting in Gilroy. Same weekend, 7 people were shot here in this city. So let's not obscure the fact that we have an urgency on gun violence, and the assault weapons ban was a good and right thing. But also, I live in a city, and we are in a city where the criminal justice system built up over these bills from the 80s, 90s. Literally, Joe Biden said every crime bill, major and minor, since the 1970s has had my name on it. And these are crime bills that brought us 3 strikes and you're out. It brought us crack cocaine, powder cocaine disparities. It brought us a 500% increase in mass incarceration. But what's worse, as we now stand an outlier in all of humanity, 5% of the globe's population, 25% of the globe's prison population, overwhelmingly nonviolent offenders. The kids in college, I went to Stanford. Nobody was getting arrested there for using drugs or dealing drugs. I'm sorry. The people that are targeted by the war on drugs are from communities like this. Blacks are 4 times more likely to be arrested for drugs, even though there's no difference in usage or selling. So we've got to speak to the fact that right now there are people unjustly incarcerated, right now, because of things that were done in those bills. And if you can't speak to that and put a plan forward to reverse that, I'm going to take you on, not because I'm running for president, but because I've been doing this since I was a law student working in legal clinics trying to fight against the system.
So that was 1994, that crime bill. Under criticism last night, also the teens. When Barack Obama was president, there was a lot of focus on things that took place during the 8 years that he was in office and not painted necessarily in a flattering way. And one of the things you hear this morning is, if Barack Obama was too far right or not connected to today's Democratic Party, what does it say about today's Democratic Party? I'm just telling you what we're hearing.
Yeah, well, first of all, I miss Obama. I miss Obama. And I miss her husband, too. Look, he is our statesman. And anybody that was an executive, I was an executive for 2 terms of a city. He ain't perfect. Nobody has ever pulled that off. And I'm sure Barack Obama was sitting here, and I hope he's sleeping this morning. He would tell you I made some mistakes. And to not point them out, to me is, Donald Trump is a guy that my Republican colleagues can't even criticize when he's preaching racism. We are having an honest conversation about an administration that was incredible. I would take him back. Heck, if he was running for president for a 3rd term, I wouldn't be running. The reality is we have a situation right now where we have a president that is doing things to this country that are perverting our very values and ideals, and talking about what our plans would be, different than the previous president, different than the current president, is not a bad thing.
We started with that line that you had about the Kool-Aid, and little did we expect that to be the most controversial line on our panel. Our analysts went to town
Oh, my gosh.
on that line today. They had a field day earlier on the program, so we're going to just recap
No, I'm
for
worried.
you.
I am worried.
You should be worried. You should be worried. So let us play what our panel thought about that line.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Senator Booker, I love you, man, but I could just see you going, oh, this is my time. Here comes the Kool-Aid.
But with black phrases, you don't enunciate like every word.
But you also don't say you dipping in the Kool-Aid.
And don't even know the
It's
flavor.
not
No,
what
it's-
is it?
What is it?
You
You
just-
all up
you
in
all
the
up in the
Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid and you don't know the flavor.
You
It's
all
like
up.
it's
You
a-
gotta get that
it's
right,
a-
Cory. Come
He
on.
was too
It was
pedigreed with it.
They thought you were using the Queen's English, basically. What do you think? What's your retort to that?
I'm like, wait a minute. I'm getting torn up by my fellow black people. It's like Booker T. Washington's barrels of crabs. They're pulling me down for not explicitly stating it like we might do up in the hood.
Yes.
And then I get points about Cory's just code switching right now, talking to different people in different ways. Come on. I mean, heat of a debate. You get up there in front of millions of Americans, have the vice president of the United States distorting your record, do it with a smile, and come back with him with something, a colloquialism that we use in our communities. Guys, wow, you are rough.
For the record, Mayor Andrew Gilliam there, he recused himself completely.
I love
I'm
that.
not part of this. I'm not getting involved with this at all.
And by the way, some of those folks that were coming into me, they're friends. I saw a couple of my sisters there. We'll have some conversations off camera.
Senator Cory Booker, thank you. Great to see you this morning.
It's very good to be
Thanks so
on.
much for stopping by.